in the middle against a good user from Jay Sugg. So this is a good question here from Jay Sugg. If your opponent is locking down the middle of your coverage, what can you do? Well, run a levels concept. So I'm going to go here with a play like, we'll go with a cover 4 because that's going to allow me to be the main hook zone in the middle of the field. So you'll see here I've got a guard. I'm confident, cocky almost, that I could guard the whole middle of the field, shut off routes, and see if I can slow things down. So I got to kind of play triangle. I got to play the drag underneath the X. I got to play here, drop here, and then drop there. So like I just played 3 routes on that play. So if you are playing against a great user, what can you do to slow that down? Well, mixing in a screen, number 1, because if you don't have that much in the middle, every time the ball snapped and you've run a screen, I have to look at the offensive lineman for a quarter second to see if they're pulling out of the way. Like when you're playing user defense and I'm just sitting here, if I'm confident in my play and I'm not scrambling to make an adjustment or line up against a certain formation, the number 1 thing I am able to do is look at the linemen and see if they're pulling out. So that's the first thing you would do, is want to mix in just one of those. Then you want to use this levels concept. So Gibbs does have 3 routes here, and he's got to throw me off with them. So if I drop too early from one or cheat on another, or like if I never get back to that X route or something like that, he's got to make me pay.
You stay underneath, right?
Right.
I think a rollout game can kind of get your opponent going because they're going to worry about your scrambling. Then you have all these crossing patterns to worry about. Someone in the chat, we got sub hype, real Jamal, sub hype. But someone in the chat made a good point. They said that for this type of situation on offense, what they'll tend to go to is stick and nod, and I agree. I think stick and nod does a good job. If I can find a version of it here, stick and nod does a good job of that because you get. Let's see if we can find the routes here. Stick and nod. So you get one route that stresses the defense deep, and then you have an underneath pattern that also stresses the defense which man or zone. And then if you kind of mix in like some type of motion. So this is really hard for you to defend here because there's a lot going on. You have to watch him, and then bang, you left him open. So the motion slant is going to be a timing pattern. It's going to kind of get underneath the defense. So you kind of have to say, all right, well, I'm going to go to X. Well, if you cover X this time, I can hit R1 or just like the area is vacated right there, the circle. So you have all these multiple patterns that kind of attack the same area. That makes it really difficult for a user because they have to pick the best players. They pick right. You know, that's when you play a game and you make mistakes because they pick. It's like they're always making the right read.
But you never pick the right thing all the time. Well, it's based on game situations. It's like a 3rd and 20. I've got to go to X.
3rd and 20, you're going X. Right.
And then maybe you get a block and you get a field or something like that. So there is some mixes going on there. Good question here from